top of the podium. His amazing winning percentage in 125 Supercross, 65%. Tonight, the kid we all call Bubba looks to surpass the king in all-time 125 Supercross victories. And it's next on ESPN2. Welcome inside the Georgia Dome for the THQ AMA Supercross Series. This is 125 East Racing, and the Bubba fans have turned out in force. Hello once again, everybody. Todd Harris along with Davey Coombs, the founder and editor of RacerX Magazine. What can you say about 259? People know him, they love him, and they've come to see him tonight.
I tell you what, there is no way we can overcook just how good this kid is. I was down on the track watching practice earlier. The stuff he was doing was amazing. I look over my shoulder, half the 250 class is leaned over watching. They're hitting each other. James Stewart might be the best 125 rider we've ever seen. We're about to see that in the record books. He's going to take a page from Jeremy McGrath, just rip that thing right out. But you know what? If you ask Bubba, he's more stoked about the fact that he finally gets to race professionally in the Southeast. This is his first time in front of his home fans.
Well, earlier in the day, we talked to James Stewart about just that, and here's what he had to say about surpassing the king.
You know, trying to beat McGrath's record, which I'm tied with him right now, is just an honor itself. And, you know, most people don't realize, you know, just even qualifying for this sport, you know, the hardest sport in the world is an honor. So, you know, to be able to go after a record of, you know, of a champion and the king of Supercross, it's a great feeling. So, you know, it's just a lot of hard work and dedication, and, you know, starting to pay off now.
Well, it all culminates in Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll have the East-West Shootout. Should be a great one. And, folks, if you get the opportunity, get your tickets now, because that will be one packed house, Sam Boyd Stadium. Here are the points leaders. James Stewart on top. He has been perfect, followed by Broc, Hepler, Steve Lamson, Kelly Smith, and Eric Sorby rounding out the top 5. Right now, it's time to go racing. Before we do that, let's check in with the MX Unleashed track experience.
For this week's MX Unleashed track experience, we're hitching a ride with Steve Boniface, the MotorWorldRacing.com team. First of all, check out the dirt. Always good here at the Georgia Dome. He's going across where our first turn is. Big bank wall on the outside, then the first triple. This one's pretty easy. You got to hit it straight. There's going to be a lot of traffic there. Now a rhythm section. You can step on, step off, stay up top either way. Another corner, and then check this out. A double, and then they're going to triple that right there. Boniface doesn't do it this time, and then another triple. A little 90-degree corner back across the start-finish line. Another little rhythm thing. A little bit of flat ground right here into a bank corner. Another step on, step off. Lots of passing. A really long track this week. Goes back into the corner. He's going to do a hairpin. Back across the long start stretch. Another corner. And then finally, we get to the whoops. And this week, the whoops kind of cut out. Look at the cups in them. Look at the lines. Boniface going through straight. One more corner to go. Makes a bank turn. Faces around. And there's the finish line. That's it for this week's MX Unleashed track experience.
We are just about set to go racing here in Atlanta. Right now, let's check in with Robbie Floyd. He's filling in for Jamie Little, who's covering the IRL. Cameron Steele having a birthday party. Wish him the best. Let's send it down to Robbie.
Thanks, guys. You know, the story of Minneapolis was the professional debut of Davy Millsaps. He finished 14th, a little anticlimactic for the average professional. But Davy is no average professional. When you've been labeled the next Ricky Carmichael, the next Bubba, it's kind of hard being the next Davy Millsaps. But here, a lot of weight has been lifted off his shoulders. In the pre-qualifier earlier today, he was able to take a win. But you want to talk about pressure. He lives in Cairo, Georgia, just right down the road. And if you look at all these fans, they're focused on Davy Millsaps because they want a Georgian to win tonight.
So 125 heat number 1 is on the line from Atlanta, Georgia. We've got a near capacity crowd here tonight to watch the best in the world. What you'll see in the 125 show, 2 heats, 9 transfer in each, 1 LCQ, 4 transfer to that, 22 riders trying to make it to our main event. As we take a look at our Thor starting grid, I'll tell you what, Davey, this is really a who's who of young and up-and-comers. Broc Hepler's in there. Steve Lamson, not an up-and-comer, but a great rider. Ryan Clark, Ryan Mills, Danny Smith, and as Robbie pointed out, there's Davy Millsaps, 188. The 30 board is sideways.
And it looks like Daniel Blair, once again, that guy must be the whole shot master. They ran him out a little high. Danny Smith, or is that Josh Hansen?
So tight as they go through there. Blair is back up and riding, got a good position to the inside.
And it's Danny Smith.
Number 59, Smith out in front. Hepler currently sitting in third as they start to air it out. Millsaps currently sitting in ninth.
I'll tell you what, not the start that Davey Millsaps wanted, but I was watching him in his qualifier too, and Robbie's right. He looks a lot different than he did last week. He had total vapor lock in Minnesota, but hey, he's 1 week older, which means, 16 years, 13 days.
He's an old man. Number 59, Danielle Smith out in front out of Middleton, Idaho, in the Yamaha YZ250F Boost Mobile Yamaha and Troy Racing. Remember, this is 125, heat number 1, 20 riders, going 6 laps, the top 9 to the main. Well, let's look at this one more time from the vision of Steve Boniface, our helmet cameraman. Great start as you put it out for Blair, but then it got dicey.
Yeah, you see Blair on the outside, and all of a sudden they get all caught up. There goes Blair over the top. Boniface gets a good start, and check it out. Here's what happened. They push out. They're always going to do this right into the hay bale. And I'll tell you what, we're lucky we only lost one guy right there.
So that's your whole shot, 125, heat number 1. This is 125 East, riding way out in front is Danny Smith. And the kid from Middleton, Idaho is doing a great job on board that Yamaha YZ250F. Just about checking out, and we're only a lap and a half into this thing. Talk about the track, Davey, and talk about the tackiness of this Georgia red clay. I know a lot of the guys from the West love to come back here as we look at Broc Hepler and number 42, Steve Boniface coming through.
They sure do. I know the West Coast guys love it because you don't get this kind of tack. But guys like Broc Hepler and Steve Boniface, who we're riding with right now, Hepler's from Pennsylvania, Boniface is from France. They're used to this stuff. But Danny Smith out front, I'm pretty impressed so far. He's had a tough start, not good results in Houston, fell down in Minneapolis, and this is what he needs. He needs to get out front, ride out front, and get comfortable.
Steve Boniface running the helmet camera for us. Number 42 out of Murrieta, California, in the Suzuki RM125, MotorWorldRacing.com, American Suzuki and Fly, doing a great job right now of hounding number 60. That's the youngster, Broc D. Hepler out of Canadian, Pennsylvania. There's a mouthful, a lot of confidence there. Suzuki RM250Z. Broc Hepler, we saw him, and he was overshadowed in the first stop of the 125 East, but here's Hepler, gets on the podium as first, and then he comes out, and he's running with the big fellas.
I tell you what, ever since Broc Hepler got that Butterfinger hole shot from the far outside in Houston, I knew that he was going to be good that night, and last week his shoulder was bothering him just a little bit. You see him trying to pick it up a little more. Remember, we talk about Millsaps being a young pro. That's this kid's 3rd Supercross race, and by the way, it's Katanning.
Thank you very much. That's why he gets paid the big bucks, folks. We'll step aside from Atlanta, Georgia. You're watching 125 East Racing. The running orders, Smith, Hepler, and Boniface, Johnson and Ford.
Riding teaches responsibility, builds confidence, and can turn children into champions.
I wanna ride, I wanna ride, I wanna ride. Gonna ride it, gotta ride it. Gonna ride it, gotta ride it. Ride it, gotta ride it. Ride, 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 ride. I wanna ride, I wanna ride, I wanna ride.
The 4-stroke CRFs from Honda. Every champion needs a good start.
Supercross on ESPN2 is brought to you by Suzuki, maker of performance-driven motorcycles, scooters, and all-terrain vehicles. By MX Unleashed, available now for PlayStation 2 and Xbox. And by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, personal watercraft, and scooters. Welcome back to the Georgia Dome, Atlanta, Georgia. This is 125, heat number 1, East Racing. You're looking at number 60, Broc Hepler, currently sitting in second place from Katanning, Pennsylvania. Number 42, Steve Boniface is running the helmet cam. He currently sits in third place, but out in front, the man who got the whole shot, Danielle Smith out of Middleton, Idaho, Yamaha YZ250F. Well, we'll slide back just a little ways, but we don't have to go far, Davey. One lap into this thing, he was in 8th and 9th. Right now, Davey Millsaps, number 188, is currently sitting in 4th. An important thing here is the transfer position.
Well, like Robbie said at the beginning, he got to ride that afternoon qualifier, get the bugs out a little bit. I know that this kid didn't get beat a lot coming up through the years at Loretta Lynn's and Ponca City and the World Mini and all that. So it was probably tough for him to go out there and have his lunch handed to him like that. But now he's back and a little more comfortable. He had to work an entire week to work on his Supercross game. They've got an unbelievable facility down there, the Millsaps training facility in Cairo, Georgia. I expect him to do a lot better.
Davy Millsaps is absolutely phenomenal. The kid has got the speed. All he takes is a little seasoning, and he will be running up with the big fellas. James Stewart and the rest of the crew, as soon as that kid gets out, he'll be looking good. Right now, with the white flag out, you are looking at your leader. That is Danny Smith out in front. Got the whole shot, and he has looked so good, Davy. Right now, this is the most pressure he's got in the whole race.
Yeah, I tell you what, Broc Hepler kind of snuck up on him. They've got about half a track to go, and I'll tell you what, Broc is in striking distance.
Broc Hepler currently sits in second. That is Danny Smith, number 59, in first. Broc Hepler, number 16, made his rookie debut just 2 weeks ago. Danny Smith out in front is not long in the tooth either. And here comes the turn as they come through.
And remember, last week, Smith took Hepler out in the heat race, and he's got one corner to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if Hepler totally went for it here. Oh, just got a little out of control there, lost his chance.
So Broc Hepler will have to settle for second, take nothing away from Danny Smith. A great finish for him. He picks up the win, and it looks like the way Broc Hepler's looking at his bike, something may have gone wrong there when he clipped that tough luck. Nonetheless, Hepler will get second, and the top 9 go to the main event. For everyone else, it's off to an LCQ. Great run, though, for Danny L. Smith. That's tough in this class to get the whole shot and keep the lead the whole race. As we take a look at the official results, it's Danny Smith picking up the victory, followed by Broc Hepler, Steve Boniface, Davy Millsaps, and Kevin Johnson in the top 5. But remember, it's the top 9 that are moving on, so Daniel Blair is in there. Right now, let's send it down to Robbie Floyd.
Well, Danny Smith, you looked like you were out in front and gone, but here came Broc at the end. I think he was looking for a little revenge. He got close there at the end.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he's obviously riding good, but I just got to get it back together for the main event, and just got to say thanks while I can to my team, Boost Mobile Yamaha Troy. I've been getting really good starts, which is very important out here, and I don't know, tonight I feel great, so just got to thank everybody, Parts Unlimited, Thor, Dunlop Smith, everybody, so we'll see what happens tonight.
125, heat number 2 on the line here in the Georgia Dome. You are looking at 259. That is James Bubba Stewart. As we take a look at our Thor starting grid, he is atop the board, followed by Kelly Smith, Eric Sorby, Brett Metcalfe, Tiger Lacey's in there, Josh Hansen, who had a big victory last week, 48, Paul Carpenter, who is healthy and running very fast in practice, 83, Michael Blows is in there, 95, Turbo Reef, and Vincent Blair, number 157 also. The 30 board is straight up, and Davey, I know a lot of people are looking for 259 as 30 goes sideways.
Keep an eye on 68. I think Josh Hansen got a spark of confidence last week. And there he goes right off the start on the inside. But that's Paul Carpenter, KXF. And look at Bubba. Oh, there goes Bubba down.
James Stewart goes down, and he goes down hard.
Now we're going to see what he's made of. There you see Skip Norfolk down there trying to get him started. He's working on his clutch. The whole pack has gotten away. He's dead last. He's got to get up to 9th.
Folks, sit back and watch some magic. We've seen this before in the outdoor season, Davey, and I have a feeling we're going to see something special right now. Your leader, number 48, Paul Carpenter, Kawasaki rider, out in front. James Bubba Stewart, number 259, looking over the field. Here it is again. What went wrong?
Well, he slid off the face of this jump. Watch, comes over a little sideways, right into the side of number 156. That's Jimmy William Browning, and down he goes. Check it out. He almost had the whole shot right there. Slides a little bit, comes off cockeyed. He gets whacked by Browning. He's lucky no one ran over him. Unfortunately, they weren't going very fast there, but I bet he's going fast now.
So here's the scenario. James Bubba Stewart has already passed 3. Make that 4 riders as he moves his way up through the pack. Now, we've seen this before. This happened in Vegas last year, and we all know what happened there. He's got to be patient. As David Bailey would point out, there's no need for him to go breakneck speed right now. Just be patient and work your way up. As you put it out, David, he's got to get to 9th. Meanwhile, don't take anything away from this young man. Paul Carpenter out in front, being followed right now by Hansen and Blows, sits in 3rd.
Paul Carpenter is the most unlikely factory rider in the sport. You know, here's a kid from New York that got a deal with Kawasaki because they brought the KXF over. They were hoping to sign Kelly Smith, but it didn't work out, so they brought Paul in. He had a tough start the first couple weeks, but now he looks really good. Josh Hansen's in 2nd, and you can see on our box up there on the right hand of the screen, that's Bubba. He's got a long way to go, but, I mean, who else but James Stewart can come back from that? And by the way, Eric Sorby, number 917, crash before the completion of the first lap, he is out of this race.
So Eric Sorby, another Kawasaki rider, will be going to the LCQ. James Stewart in the upper right hand. If you're just joining us, he went down on the whole shot and went down hard. Fortunately, no one hit him. It looked like he might have had a problem with his clutch. Fixed it quickly. He is back up and riding. And folks, like blood in the water, there's a great white shark on the prow.
That's Kelly Smith. He's coming up behind of the Yamaha Troy team. Kelly got third last week. You watch Bubba come to the inside. He's doing the right things. He's being patient. But I know he wants a lot more than this. You see Smith take a look back over his shoulder. Meanwhile, Paul Carpenter, 3 laps into this, he's at the halfway point. He's still out front.
PC from Ithaca, New York. That's Paul Carpenter, one of the great riders. A great story. Having some problems with the whoops right there. Oh, and Hansen comes in tight. Almost tried to park it. Hansen on the inside. Carpenter goes to the outside. They're 1 and 2. Carpenter 48 on the Kawasaki. Hansen number 68 on the Yamaha. This will be a great battle.
Hansen's riding with newfound confidence after that first podium finish last week. He is in striking distance right now, and I think Carpenter is starting to sense that he's got someone behind him. You can see he just fumbled right through that rhythm section, right on the inside, and that's the pass for the lead.
Well, lap rider right there, and Paul Carpenter really got shut down by a lap rider. Meanwhile, Hansen goes to the front. Bubba Stewart continues to work up the pack. Josh Hansen is your leader. We'll be back to see if he can hold on to it, and if Bubba can get in qualifying position. Stay with us. It's now time for Honda's All Access from Atlanta, Georgia. A fantastic facility next door to the Georgia Dome. All the sponsors are present. You can get everything you want down there, Davey.
I'll tell you what, I can't think of another sport where you can get so close to all the stars. You see all the top riders, all the sponsors out there. It's a great place to bring your kids and just have a ball and enjoy the whole Supercross experience.
Right next door to the Georgia Dome, Scott's here, Thor, everyone handing out the butterfingers for the taking. Right now, let's go back inside the Georgia Dome. More of 125 heat number 2. Welcome back to the Georgia Dome. This is 125 heat number 2. Your leader, number 68, Hansen, goes to the lead. Paul Carpenter, number 48, who got the whole shot, sits in second. And James Bubba Stewart, the series leader, crashes on the first turn. And folks, this gives me unbelievable satisfaction to tell you that James Bubba Stewart, after being in dead last, has now moved up to 6th place. That's right, 6th place. And if we take a look at this pass one more time that Hansen got on Paul Carpenter.
Yeah, you'd see that Carpenter messed that whole rhythm section up. That was the second time in a row he'd done that. Hansen just put himself in the right place at the right time. Paul Carpenter not used to running out front. He doesn't have the kind of Supercross experience these other guys have, but pretty impressive ride, and I think this is going to help his confidence. Hey, second's better than where he's been.
Paul Carpenter sitting in second right now. The Kawasaki rider trying to keep it together, staying in transfer position. Your leader, Josh Hansen, putting down a very impressive lap time. Hansen has done a fantastic job. So it's Hansen, Carpenter, blows, Gibson, Turbo Reef, and here comes 259. Just 4 laps ago, this young man was in dead last by more than 40 yards, and here he is again.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's riding above this racetrack compared to the rest of the 125 class. You know, unfortunately, it's only a 6-lap race, so we're not going to see him get too far up. But he's coming up on Turbo Reef. He's going to make the top 5. Not bad. And remember, he spent about 5 seconds on the deck, and when he got up, he had to adjust his bike a little bit. Right there, he goes past Reef as we watch Hansen. Just a little ways to go, but you know what? Stewart is almost on the same straightaway as Josh Hansen now.
Unbelievable run. Josh Hansen out in front. Overtook Paul Carpenter just a lap ago. And Josh Hansen, newfound confidence in Minneapolis, Minnesota, living up to what many people thought he would be able to do. And Hansen making his way to the last section of whoops. Paul Carpenter sits in second, but it'll be Hansen on board his Yamaha who will pick up the victory here in heat number 2. Carpenter will bring it in for second, and here comes Bubba. Oh, 5th isn't good enough. He's going to pick up 4th. James Stewart comes from dead last to finish 4th. Take nothing away from Hansen and Carpenter. They ran a great race, but Stewart was in dead last, taking dirt samples, and here he is in the top 4 as we take a look at your winner, number 68, Josh Hansen. So your official results, 125 heat number 2, look like this. Is Josh Hansen picking up the victory, Paul Carpenter second, Michael Blows third. James Bubba Stewart in 4th, and Jeff Gibson rounding out the top 5. Reef, Blair, Lacey, and Hatzel all moved to the main event. Let's send it down to Robbie Floyd.
Well, Josh Hansen, momentum's a wonderful thing, ain't it? After Minneapolis, you took second, man. You won that thing convincingly.
Yeah, I'm super happy. I'm just really glad to be here, and the God up above really helped me get up here. Boost Mobile, Yamaha, Troy, Phil Alderton, my dad, Donnie Hansen Motocross Academy. I mean, my trainer, Johnny Lodge. I mean, we've really been putting in the effort, and it shows to be paying off.
Great heat race win. Good luck in the final.
Thanks a lot.
Well, your upcoming races look like this. On the 13th of March, we're going to the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis, Missouri. Then on the 20th, we'll be in Indianapolis at the RCA Dome. On the 3rd of April, it's up to Pontiac, Michigan, and the Silver Dome. And folks, get your tickets now because they are going fast. Right now, it's time to check in with this week's edition of the Suzuki Question of the Week.
My son, Eric Thorne, wants to start racing. What would be the best Suzuki for him to start on?
Well, depending on what age you are, but we have a full line of bikes starting for 3-4 years old with the GR50. Then we move up to the RM65, RM85, 125, and then 250, and also the 4-stroke. So we have a full line, and depending on your age and your ability, we can fill all the spots. And thanks for asking the Suzuki Question of the Week.
And our thanks to Roger DeCoster with the Suzuki Question of the Week. Coming up, more racing from Georgia, the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge and the 125 LCQ. You want to get your son and daughter involved in this? Here's how you get it done.
These kids can get involved going through the dealers and get the application, the KJC application to be filled. And what we primarily looking for is an A grade student. Academic is very important. And also they have a 1-year experience and the 50 to 52 inches and 78 pounds. And it's very important as well. And all the elements is very, very essential for us to picking up the riders.
And for a weekend, they're treated just like the Supercross stars. Full gear, full race bikes, helmets, the whole package. And in the end, your winner this weekend, Hunter Breland of McLean, Mississippi. If you got a 7 or 8-year-old, get them involved in that KTM Junior Supercross Challenge. What a great program Selvaraj puts on. Right now, it's time for the 125 LCQ. A lot of riders here that wish they were in the pits getting ready for the main event. James Marshall, Ryan Mills, Steve Mertens, Eric Nye, Hans Neal, James Pavoni, just to name a few. Davey, the key here is 4 laps, top 4 to the main. Everyone else is grabbing themselves a Georgia Dome dog and done for the night.
It's all about the whole shot here. Well, with the Blair brothers both all the way qualifying, this one's up for grabs, and it's Brett Metcalfe on the KTM coming around the outside. Excellent start. Metcalfe went down in his heat race. Now he's back out front, and he's up where he needs to be, and I think Ryan Mills is working on second place there.
Mills, Steve Mertens also, who we saw in practice right now, sitting in second place, number 517, getting in the picture. That's Hans Neal. Remember, the top 4 are going to the main event.
One rider to keep an eye on, number 917, Eric Sorby is back in 5th right now. Sorby also crashed really hard, and right now he would not be in a qualifying position. But there he goes on the inside, trying to get around number 56. Sorby having a tough night so far.
Your leader is Metcalfe. Number 517 as he comes through is Hans Neal, currently sitting in second place. 54 is Mertens. 917 is Eric Sorby. The green flag is out. 125 East LCQ from Georgia is on.
Tom, there's another story developing in the back of the pack. Last week's third-place finisher, Kelly Smith of the Yamaha Troy team, got a terrible start. He's not even in the top 10 right now. And what a bad turn of events for Yamaha Troy after getting 2 podium spots last week. One of their big guns might not even make it.
Meanwhile, your leader out in front, that is Metcalfe, on board the KTM, doing a great job for the Orange folks right now. Brett Metcalfe, your leader, had a chance to talk to him last week in Minneapolis, and here's a guy determined. I mean, you talk about having your game face on. Brett Metcalfe, when he gets in line, it's all business.
You can see Hans Neal doing a real good job riding in second. Sorby has now moved into third with Mertens fourth. Number 44, Ryan Mills, is on the bubble. He's the 5th place rider. I guess he's trying to break the bubble because he's got to pass Steve Mertens if he's going to make this main event. Mills, of course, factory connection, Amsoil Chaparral Honda rider out of New York.
Metcalfe starting to get some pressure up on front from Hans Neal, number 517 out of Bristol, Tennessee on the Honda CR125R. Jim's MC Alloy Liquid and Perfect Pro sponsored rider, a name we haven't thrown out much, but he's getting his chance, making the most of it. Sorby now currently sits in 3rd. And I know for the KTM folks, they've got to be so happy the way the Metcalfe's riding here.
They are. He looked really good in practice today, Todd. He looked good in his heat race, but he was involved in that start. He got pushed out. Here comes Sorby trying to make a go of it with Hans Neal. He doesn't need that spot, but, you know, these guys race ahead. Sometimes they don't think just going to put it on reserve and be consistent. You see him jump to the outside, squares it off, but I think Sorby's going to make that pass right here over the finish line. He's got the inside. The white flag comes out. Sorby moves into 2nd, but right now they'll both qualify, so Hans Neal just needs to be calm.
Back in the pack, Merton, Mills, and Pavoni all jockeying for position. Pavoni a little farther back than the rest of the crew. But Eric Sorby has moved into 2nd place. Kawasaki's got to be happy about that. Mitch Payton and the crew happy to see the team green colors out in front. And right now, Sorby looks like he's going to go after Metcalfe after a whip.
Get a little outside there. He wants to be careful here. It's always great to get a checkered flag, but it's more important to get in the main event, especially when you're riding for Mitch Payton and the pro circuit team.
So it's Metcalfe, Neal, Sorby, and Mertens right now. They will qualify for the main. If it ends right here, we've got 2 more big turns to go. Can Metcalfe hold on? Here comes Sorby once again, and it looks like he may just think about making an inside break off. I think Metcalfe's going to get him at the line as they come through. Metcalfe's your winner. Sorby will have to settle for 2nd, but look at Hans Neal.
Hans Neal's 3rd, Mertens is 4th, and Ryan Mills and Kelly Smith both fail to qualify.
As we take a look at the Thor qualifying results, Metcalfe, Sorby, Hans Neal, and Steve Mertens all advancing on. Ryan Mills on the outside looking in. And check out this action. You don't even get this in MX Unleashed.
That's going to be on the next bar to bar. I guarantee you see Jay Midrit's in there, the Asterisk guys. Where is Steve Whitlock? I guarantee you he's going to be handing out some fines here.
We'll step aside when we come back to the Georgia Dome. The main event still to come.
3 days a week, and main thing is now just letting letting my knee, the ACL graft heal back, and I'll be back riding April 1st. So everything's good now, just waiting. I'm training and just waiting to ride now.
Outstanding. We'll have Ricky Carmichael with us for the 125 main event. Right now it's time for the Nissan Rider of the Week and Broc Hepler.
I'm Broc Hepler. I live at Canyon, Pennsylvania, and I ride for American Suzuki. My highlights in my amateur career, they're really good. I had 4 titles at Loretta Lynn's, and I also had an 80cc world title that I won and was the first American to do so. It was definitely hard coming into Supercross, knowing how I would do or what to expect, but it was definitely an eye-opener coming into the first race. But I pulled through and finished 2nd. I got involved in racing through my dad. He used to race, and it was what I wanted to do all my life. I started racing when I was 4 years old, and I loved it ever since. Here's my mechanic, Lee McCollum. Used to wrench for Travis, so it's good to have him aboard this year. Hopefully my bike will stay together this race. I don't have a girlfriend right now. I'm just concentrating on racing and putting in good finishes. Yeah, if I keep finishing 2nd to Stewart, I should have a lot of girlfriends.
And there is Broc Hepler in only his 3rd start. He had a very impressive start in Houston, Texas. As we take a look at our Suzuki starting grid for the 125 main event, Hansen's in there, as is Danny Smith, both heat winners, Paul Carpenter, Broc Hepler. Strange to see James Stewart down in the 7th position, but I'm sure he'll make some noise before this thing is over. As the 34 is straight up, let's ask Ricky Carmichael, who do you like in this one?
Well, the favorite is Stewart. I think if he gets a pole shot and he's on 2 wheels, it's his. But looks like he got a bad jump, so we'll see what happens.
Coming up the middle, I think that's Josh Hansen again.
Oh, Stewart sneaking inside.
Stewart on the inside. It's going to be very close between Stewart getting the Butterfinger hole shot. We'll have to take a replay
Hansen got another good start, came along in second, and then Steve Boniface is third, but you see Stewart.
Touchdown with Brett Metcalfe. Taking a back crash here in the rhythm section before the triple.
Stewart just got a lightning start. The only guy that's got a chance, even at this point, looks like Josh Hansen. Steve Boniface took the Butterfinger hole shot award with our helmet cam.
We don't have to look at the replay because he's got the helmet cam on. Steve Boniface right now currently sitting in third place. James Stewart out in front with Josh Hansen in second. From the onboard camera, this is Steve Boniface running it. Ricky, he had a great line.
Yeah, he does. Sneaks on the inside right here, just inches out Bubba. And then Bubba's on the inside here.
Took a quick glance over and he was gone. James Stewart out in front on the infield track though. Brett Metcalfe pushing his bike around. He is done for the evening, but James Stewart is off and running. Just about checked out and the green flag was just out. This kid is phenomenal. Haines City, Florida, riding the Kawasaki, Oakley, and Fox ride. You watched him, you talked about him during practice, Davey Coombs. The 250 boys are sticking around to watch this kid.
I tell you what, it's unbelievable watching him because he does things that you don't expect a 125 class rider to do, especially on a 125cc motorcycle.
Hey, you got to give a shout out to Steve Lamson. The guy's a multi-time outdoor champion, and he's been riding good in the East Coast. He got a 4th at the first race, 5th last weekend, and he's got a lot of, he's in good shape. So maybe he's looking at a podium tonight.
You see him moving in the picture right there. Ricky, do you remember you used to look up to Lamson?
Oh yeah, dude, that guy is one of the greatest champions, man, that I've ever raced. He's a great guy, and it's good to see him out there doing good.
Broc Hepler right now currently in 5th position. We'll give you the quick running order. Stewart, Hansen, Boniface, Hepler, and Blows your top 5. Unfortunately, Davy Millsaps is mired back in 12th position, but James Stewart once again putting on a show for the crowd. Now, this is the first time he's really had a chance to race in front of his fans in this part of the country because he's been racing the 125 West. Here he is in the 125 East, and Ricky, for a guy who lives in this part of the country, knowing how passionate these fans are, this has got to be great for Bubba.
Oh, it's really comfortable coming here. Like, I love coming here, and I know it's got to be cool for him, and it's good for the fans, to both sides of the country to see him ride a 125. It's really good for the sport and for himself.
Ricky, what do you think of this kid here, Broc Hepler? He's out of Pennsylvania. We've seen a lot of riders have some nerves and everything like that, but he's taking this like a champ.
Yeah, he is. I tell you, there's a lot of hype built around him and Millsaps, and he's kind of been the guy under the radar, and he's the guy that's doing really good. I'm really impressed with him. He had an outstanding heat race also.
Broc Hepler shows up to his first race, has a partially dislocated shoulder, and still podiums in his rookie debut against a guy like James Stewart. Doesn't get the press he deserved because Stewart went out and everyone was waiting to see him, but Broc Hepler doing a great job.
A little further back, you see Lamson, the rider Ricky was just talking about, and Paul Carpenter putting in a real good effort. This is the battle for 6th right now. You see him take the high line over. Carpenter coming over on the inside.
Carpenter sneaking there on the inside, almost gets him. Looks like he's just trying to set him up. See what happens here coming down the start straight.
Ricky, we've talked about this before. If you're Lamson, do you ride your own ride? Do you ride defensively? Or it looks like right now he's just trying to hold his position, and that might be a mistake with Carpenter.
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience, so he's probably not worrying too much about himself. Millsaps.
Davy Millsaps is down on the side of the track. Our leader, James Stewart, getting ready to lap him. Ricky, man, what is going through this kid's head? I know your first Supercross back in '97 ended on a hay bale.
Yeah, I know. I was riding the tough blocks, so I beat the traffic that night. But, there's so much pressure, and he probably just made a little mistake. Hopefully he's okay, man. We're going to see that guy get up there and do some good racing.
Davy Millsaps, another one of the young riders with all the talent in the world, just needs to put it all together, and I think, folks, he will eventually. Give him a little bit of time, but this young man, only 18 years of age, James Bubba Stewart, number 259 on board the Kawasaki, absolutely lighting up the Georgia red clay.
James looking good out there, just riding really smooth, putting in good, consistent laps, and that's the name of the game. He don't have to go, and he don't have to go too fast, I mean, he's kind of in a league of his own, and, he needs to take advantage of this and really soak it in, because it's fun on days like this when you can just go out there and ride the way you want to ride, and it's fun to watch also.
Ricky, I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you how you compared to James Stewart, but right now 13 wins for for McGrath, 13 wins for Stewart. If you had to bet money on those two guys in a 125 race at the peak of their careers, who are you going to bet on?
I'll probably take McGrath because, you know, he doesn't push the issue too much. He can, you know, he's ridden under pressure before, and the one key ingredient is he's got experience.
Yeah, no question about that. Go to another rider. This is number 68, Josh Hansen on the Yamaha YZ250F Boost Mobile Yamaha Troy Racing ride. Another young kid with a lot of pressure on him, and it seems like last week he found his rhythm, and Josh Hansen has been a new rider in the last 2 weeks.
Definitely Hansen coming into the East Coast with a new attitude. He's riding good. I'm very impressed with him.
It seems like once he got that first podium, and he was hyped for a long time with his dad being the 82 Supercross champion, once he found his way to the podium, now he knows how to get there. It's that first time, it's the hardest time, isn't it, Rick?
Yeah, once you know you can do something, it makes it a lot easier. Oh, Hansen's down.
Here comes Boniface. He's getting ready to pass Josh Hansen. There you see Hansen down the track. Good eye, Ricky Carmichael. Our helmet cam moves into second place. Hepler's going to move into third. Michael blows a career night riding in fourth, and Hansen finally gets back up in fifth place.
Well, we'll see Josh Hansen if he has the patience. He still has a lot of race to go, a half a race still ahead of him. So Josh Hansen's going to have to get on it quick, though. Boniface, the helmet cam, has moved up a position. He currently sits in second. Your leader is James Bubba Stewart. This is the 125 East from Atlanta, Georgia. Stick around. We'll find out what Bubba's still got up his sleeve and if our helmet cam can get into position. Stay with us.
Carmichael versus Wyndham. Two-stroke versus four-stroke. Honda versus Honda. This season, the battle for the motocross title was all about performance. And in the end, there were two winners. Kevin Wyndham and the CRF 450R, first of the four strokes, second overall. And Ricky Carmichael and the Honda CR 250R, back-to-back motocross champions. The battle is over. The winner is Honda.
Welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia. We're in the Georgia Dome. This is the 125 East main event. Your leader, James Bubba Stewart. Broc Hepler sits in second, and Boniface sits in third. If we take a look at this pass one more time, Broc Hepler is not riding like a rookie.
Hepler comes around, downsides that, and then gets to the inside.
Oh, clean pass.
Yep, good pass.
Here's what it looked like on board.
Protecting his line.
I think he caught him off guard right there.
Yeah, he did.
So it's Stewart, Hepler, Boniface, and Michael Blows moving up.
Again, you got to be impressed by Hepler. Like Ricky said, with all the hype being made about Davi Millsaps, the kid's very quietly ran under the radar screen. And if James Stewart's not out there, he's got 2 wins in his first 3. Sounds like Ernesto Fonseca back in '99.
No question about it, folks. If you have any reason to come see us Supercross Live, this is exactly it. Get your tickets online and join us. St. Louis, Pontiac, Dallas, Salt Lake. Take your pick. They'll all be great. It all leads up to our finale in Las Vegas and the East-West Shootout. So Broc Hepler continues to run in second place. Ricky, you look back as we see Stewart picture in picture. Do you get to the point where you, I don't want to say get lackadaisical, but, you know, he's got such a massive lead.
Yeah, he does got a massive lead. That's the thing about when you're winning by a big margin, you don't get too much love on the TV. And, you know, people at home want to see the race, too, going on. You know, you got, there's a race going on for third here. Boniface still holding Blows off.
We'd have seen a lot more of you, Ricky, back when you were going through that perfect season in 125 Supercross in 1998.
Yeah.
If we'd had one of these split screens, because you were just gone every week.
The split screen's nice because that's good for Bubba because he'll want to see himself too on the TV. That's awesome.
So James Stewart continues to lead. Broc Hepler comfortably in second, but the battle is on for third. Boniface and Blows, and Hansen has quietly moved back into a top 5 position. Josh Hansen was running in second place, took a fall, slid all the way back to 7th and 8th, and he has been on it since, trying to get back into a podium, trying to maintain the confidence that he gained in Houston and Minneapolis. But James Stewart has been simply THE man tonight in Georgia. He came out in the warm-up lap running a Michael Vick Atlanta Falcons jersey, and right now, he might be worth more than Michael Vick because he is absolutely dominating this class.
Well, Hansen starting to get a hook into Michael Blows, and together they pulled pulled right up on Boniface. So a battle developing there, but just a couple laps to go, and Hansen might run out of time. By the way, missing from our main event, Todd, is Steve Mertens and Ryan Mills. They had that little battle, I guess you'd say, at the end of that LCQ, and they were both disqualified from AMA Pro Racing. That moved Kelly Smith up to 5th, but the Yamaha Troy rider got 3rd last week in Minneapolis, is watching from the grandstands. He did not qualify. And there we go. Right there, Hansen takes a high line over Boniface, and now he has a chance to steal 3rd from Blows.
Look at the mechanics cheering him on. Hansen, number 68, Blows, number 83. Both men on board the Yamaha, but right now, no team orders.
Hansen sticking up. Oh, man, what an aggressive move. I think I would have waited a little bit to make that pass. I mean, he's catching the guy so fast. You might want to relax a little bit and wait for the perfect time. You don't want to make enemies out there.
They're getting ready to come in.
Oh, Hansen, dang.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah, that was a crazy move right there. I mean, he had it in the bag to pass the guy.
Well, good for that privateer.
Yeah, that's good for Blows, man. I mean, that was uncalled for right there.
Josh Hansen definitely riding aggressive. I mean, I'm impressed with the speed, but he should have been a little more patient.
Yeah, I mean, he had the guy, you know, he caught right up to him, so he had plenty of speed.
And Josh Hansen right now cannot get the bike kicked over, so he has gone from 4th place. Listen one more time, Ricky, you talk about being patient. This is not a patient move.
He comes in there and slides, and then bam.
You know, on second viewing, I got to say, it looked a little bit like Blows cut that sharper. So
yeah, you know, I'm backpedaling too. He still should have taken his time, but also he slid out too as he went to get on the gas, and that was it. So yeah, actually, a good thing for the instant replay, because it would have made ourselves look bad. But yeah, that wasn't as bad as it looked.
Well, back to our leader. The white flag is out, gentlemen. Start polishing up the adjectives and the superlatives. James Stewart is on his way to breaking the mark of the great Jeremy McGrath. This will be a huge victory for Bubba, a well-deserved victory, and a lot of folks here in Atlanta drove a long way to see this happen. Stewart has been just absolutely phenomenal, perfect through the first rounds, time enough to throw a wheeling. I know everyone here is waiting to find out what kind of dance is he going to have tonight for us.
Yeah, get the cardboard out. It's going to do some breaking. Look, he's still charging. Charging.
Boniface trying to sneak it in there on Blows.
Your winner, 125. Oh my word!
For McGrath.
He gives out a little love to Jeremy McGrath, but your winner, James Bubba Stewart, as we go back on the pack. This is Steve Boniface, who currently sits in 4th place, trying to get around and trying to move up onto the podium, and Michael Blows is just ahead of him.
Look at Bubba.
So Boniface runs out of time. Hepler 2nd, and Michael Blows. Welcome to the podium. And there's Bubba. I think he just threw the hand grenade a little bit ago.
He told me that was called the bomb. He was going between that and the dirty bird of the Atlanta Falcons, but he didn't know it, so we're going to call it the dirty Bubba Boogie. Unable to pull that off, so he goes with the bomb tonight. So James Bubba Stewart picks up yet another victory here in the Georgia Dome as Paul Carpenter gives him a little love. Kawasaki all the way around tonight. It's James Stewart's evening in the Georgia Dome as we get an instant replay of the James Stewart bomb from Atlanta. We'll be back to talk to our winner right after this short break. Dome THQ AMA Supercross Series. We just completed the 125 East main event, and what a main it was. We're fortunate enough to have the champ Ricky Carmichael up in the booth with us as we take a look at our Honda main event results. And once again, it's 259, James Bubba Stewart on top, followed by Broc Hepler with a great performance, Michael Blows on the podium, then Steve Boniface, and Paul Carpenter rounding out the top 5. Danny Smith rebounds to get 6th. There's Dale Hurley, Ryan Clark, Josh Hansen slides back to 14th position. A disappointing night for him. Tiger Lacey checks in at 17th, and there's Vincent Blair. Right now, let's send it down to the podium and Robbie Floyd.
Michael Blows, Broc Hepler, 3rd and 2nd, respectively. Michael, this is your best finish. You said you didn't even know how to pop the champagne.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I was more worried the minute I crossed the finish line how to pop champagne bottles. So, you know, I'm so happy right now. I don't know what to say.
Bubba and Broc can give you some tips out there. Broc, man, that was a hard-fought battle. Tell me about that pass on Boniface.
Yeah, I got off to a pretty good start, but I had to pass Boniface there for 2nd. You know, we got into it a little bit, and I got going. Everything was good, and I pulled off second.
It all culminates in Las Vegas, Nevada, the 125 East-West Shootout. Get your tickets online and join us live as we take a look at the THQ AMA Supercross Series standings. It is James Stewart on top with 75 points. Broc, Hepler, Steve Lamson, Eric Sorby, and Ryan Clark. Then Danny Smith, Kelly Smith, Ryan Mills, Paul Carpenter, and Tiger Lacey rounding out your top 10. Well, it's always about fashion with James Bubba Stewart, and why should now be any different? Let's send it down to Robbie.
James Bubba Stewart, 3 for 3 on the East Coast, but check that out. MC Jeremy McGrath, he had the record at 13, no longer. Now it's James Bubba Stewart. Congratulations, Bubba, on the record.
You know, it was awesome. You know, being in the same league as Jeremy McGrath is awesome. And, you know, to be able to beat a record, you know, that stood for a long time is good, too. So, you know, I just want to thank him, you know, for setting that thing and all the fans out there for cheering me. Thank you.
Your first time to come to the Georgia Dome. You're riding the East Coast now. You come out with a win, but tell me about that dance. What do we call that dance?
I call that the Bubba dance. I was just,
the what?
You know, just dancing around, you know, just having fun. And then I threw my goggles up, and as soon as it landed, it was like a bomb. So, you know, it's the Georgia Dome, and the first time I got to show the people I really respect everybody. And, you know, I'm so pumped right now to get this record and this win.
It's a happy day for you. The one record you were looking for also is that perfect season, taking all the heat races. This is only your second heat race loss ever.
Yeah, I know. I think it was 19 in a row for heat races, but you know, it was good. You know, it kind of feels good to come back from the back, and you know, I'd just like to thank my teams, Team Chevy, Chuck Kawasaki, Fox, Oakley, you know, everybody, my mom and dad. I love you guys, and I'm pumped.
He's pumped and he's on a roll. He's 3 for 3 in the 125 East Coast, guys.
Our next race comes to you from St. Louis, Missouri in the Edward Jones Dome. Sunday, March 14th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We'll see if James Bubba Stewart can keep the streak alive. Davey Coombs, your final thoughts.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he kept the streak going all throughout the year. You know, James Stewart has been exactly what we were promised a couple years ago when he came out of the amateur ranks. And when you compare him now to the trouble people like Davi Millsaps are having, it just goes to show. I mean, he's the real deal. He really is better than Jeremy McGrath on a 125 in Supercross. He might be the best ever. I can't wait until he gets on a 250 next year.
On behalf of my colleagues Robbie Floyd and Davey Coombs, I'm Todd Harris saying good night from Atlanta. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Your winner, James Bubba Stewart. Good night.